This will be a continuation of that first video. So, what I was saying that is the brain will receive the input data through the five senses, which is the eyes, the nose, you smell things, the mouth, you taste things, and the ears that you hear with them, and the touch that you can tell this is a rough surface, hot surface, cold surface, smooth surface, and what have you. Some consider the brain as the sixth sense. The brain takes all this information from the outside world and process them and give you some results or output or an interpretation or a viewpoint that this is the way they are. But there is something that is really profound here, which is if you take that brain, behind it there is something that is watching the brain. There is something that is quietly watching. And as much as people don't talk about this, or they have not recognized it or realized it, but in our depth, somehow we know it. When I say I, that I is not my body. That I is not what I think. Therefore, it makes more sense to say I have a body. The I and the body are two different things. If I can, they are two different things. Or I have a thought. So again, it is I that have the thought. I am not the thought itself. I have a brain. I am not the brain. And in that brain there is thoughts. It's my thought. Who is that? Who am I? It is that, well, I'm gonna cut through the chase. That my or that I, it is the same as the observer. That they talk about in Upanishad, they talk about it in the quantum physics. In the newest theories or actual application of quantum physics, they talk about that observer. Although they don't know what is an observer. Of course, I'm not talking about everybody, but most people, they talk about an observer, but they even take it one step further. they would say there's an observer and there's an ultimate observer. I find it very curious and very interesting that these ideas are quite in harmony with the Hindus' philosophy. The Hindus, they approach this, of course, uniquely, if I might say. And they have recognized that the observer, mind you, they have recognized that it's been the Upanishad is something like 3,000 years, 4,000 years. It depends on which Upanishad you're talking about. And that observer is the one in you that observes over your body, your mind, your thought, your brain. And that I is quiet, silent. And as a matter of fact, it communicates through its quietness to you. You recognize, it directs you towards, I don't know about a goal, but let's say a direction. And it's 100% to your benefit. If you ever had a doubt in society, okay, let's start with the government. If you ever have a doubt in the government, or you have a doubt into politicians, that same kind of doubt you would have into in the society. I am not insinuating that this is it is their fault. It is not their fault. That's the best they know how to do it. And then that same thing, there's a doubt into what you've been taught at school and what your friends. Remember when you were a child and the things that you learned from your friend? He's 9 years old, and you discuss things. You know, I'm not saying right on the table, but you know the communication that you have with your friend. Somehow you start learning what this universe is all about. I remember when I was young, discussing whether the clouds are something you can walk on. We didn't know. I didn't know. And I really have to inquire about that. That same goes much closer, even your parents. You learn so many things from your parents and your siblings. And they are not the best to your interest. Well, they meant it. They meant your best interest. They love you, of course. They teach you the best they know, but they don't know. There is one thing that you trust 100%. That I, that is in you. And that I is the only way to reach it is to be silent, to stop that dialogue in your mind, to stop that noise in your mind, to stop all these events that you dwell on that happened to you in the past, whether happy event or sad events, and you keep rehashing them, or the future where you are worried about something that might happen. You might worried about your um, um, financial situation, or health, or social uh, worries, or whatever you thought about the future, and you dwell over it, trying to find an answer. And that, you see, these inquiries, that keeps the person unhappy, because the solution is not in your hand. Though the eye, if you stop and you are quiet for a second, I think in Arabic there is a term that I really like. It says safne, where your eyes sort of goes into that glaring and staring stage, and your mind is not functioning, though the eye are feeding you with answers, non-linguistic answers, but the solution are definitely in it. Now, there is the monotheistic religions, which is Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, to say. These are the major ones, although there's many other minor ones. Even Zoroastrian are monotheistic, for example. Um, well, they have a word for that. And of course, it is God, Eloheinu, uh, Jesus Christ, and just to simplify that, let's substitute all these names to God. Okay? So they do have that. God has that power. The problem here is that God not up in heaven. That God is not outside of me. And the realization that I am an extension. I am. I am an extension of that universal mind. And I actually, as a human being and as a living creature, I have direct connection to Him. And that He will supply me, or He does supply me with all these answers, are so truthful and so irrevocable answers. That connection is the observer that is in me. That observer is that extension of the Supreme Spirit in the cosmos, uh, uh, that is in me. And it is not just possible to reach it, but He's there all the time. That I am an extension. The realization is to realize that you are the extension of of that. Of course, of course, this topic. I have brought many curriculum in these two videos. Uh, and each faculty is, people spend lifetime, studying and understanding and getting to the details, whether it is physics, whether it is cosmology, whether it is religion or Christianity or Kabbalah or, all these, or Hinduism in that manner. Now, I just want to say the fact, of course, I am not Hindu, and I don't. Um, I don't practice Hinduism at all. But I do search it, and I do look for answers in it. And of course, that's the same thing. I have searched the Quran, and I have some answers there, and I'm willing to share with you and promote. And of course, Judaism and the Kabbalah and the bright book, or the Safar Bahar, which is the heart of the Kabbalah of Judaism. And of course, the Christianity or Christian faith, and the Bible, and the verses that Jesus Christ has subscribed to us, to humanity, let's say. So somehow in here I'm summing it up in 15 minutes. I would love to get into details on these topics. If you find any of the points that I brought up intriguing to you, or curious, or you might just want to, you know, um, inquire or look a bit deeper into it, I'd love to hear from you. And um, that's about it for today. Thank you for listening.